Got a couple small updates today. The horses have been getting out, so I shouldn't say my neighbor Bub called up the state and asked if we could put a different guard at the entrance to the bowl back here. We used to have a cattle guard and the horses would walk right over it. So we got one now that the state's finishing up installing. They're probably gonna be gone by the time I drive down there. And we'll hopefully keep these guys back here and out of trouble. So you can see all the fresh tracks from the machines. They were working on installing this guy. Look at that. So we're gonna get some gravel on either side. Obviously all this mud, it's not very sustainable, so hopefully at some point today they'll be back with a dump load and get it filled in with gravel. And the horses will very much not want to venture across this. And yeah, we are gonna come out on Monday and put up a fence that goes from one side of the guard over to where that tree is and then back up the hill a little bit. Make it so that the horses really can't get out. This side we might have to clean up a little bit, but they're unlikely to want to venture through there. I was curious about this, if Holly's going to be able to venture across this thing. Can you do it? Oh, like a pro. It's not her first rodeo. The real mission, something I've been wanting to do for a minute now, is over here. When you first come in the property, you drive by a bunch of trail cameras and signs, and then if you look up the right, you can see there's a little high line up there. We have that anchored up into that big white oak tree up on top of the hill, and we've developed a little path that goes from the road up there, a nice little trail that's held its own for the past 3 years. And I have trailblazers, so I'm gonna knock them into some trees and really outline the path. This hillside I'm on that you walk up to get to moonshine up there is really cool. Right about the point where the first access fund trail or access fund sign is, if you look down at the ground, there are just like tons of little fossils. They're nothing crazy. Usually there'll be something called crinoid, which are like these coral circular kind of looking things. It's really hard to tell with the camera. But every once in a while you'll see like a brachioceph, which is sort of like a clam looking kind of structure. Yeah, it's pretty cool because every time you walk up here, like rain and everything unearths it. Oh, this is a good one. You can really sort of appreciate the crinoid. It's like lodged in there. Yeah, it's fossilized coral. Oh, that's a good one. Sometimes I get lost in the sauce here and I just like end up looking forever. They're pretty incredible and you can find really big pieces sometimes. We do a fossil hike here at Fourth Moon Camp as part of an extra experience for campers if they wanted to sign up for it. It's really fun. There's different veins like this throughout the property of different things that are interesting. And there's the high line that we saw from below. And of course, pretty awesome view. All right, gotta keep nailing these markers in. And this is the moonshine tree net. Doesn't look nearly as spectacular as it does when the leaves are all on the tree, but it still has the same view, which is truly world class in my opinion. And we still have one highline that's currently rigged over the winter, but we usually have another small one that goes off of there over to that bigger tree. And there are some plans to add to this. Yeah, I'll come back up here on another day and show you a more in-depth tour of this whole thing once we're getting ready for the spring and summer seasons. All right, the trail network grows a little bit stronger. Got blue blazers leading from Roy Gap Road up to Moonshine and then over to Aquarius. The plan is to get a ton of the same blazers and have this trail continue along past this piece of White Medina back down to Roy Gap Road on a steep descent. But I'm about to run out of blazers and I do want to mark the way back from here to Moonshine. So I'm going to do that and go back to camp, grab a bite to eat. This is sort of fascinating. There's a little cemetery here on the property. It's got 4 headstones, and they're pretty cool. This one is the oldest one. It's a gentleman named Colonel Jesse Hankel. He was born October 2nd of 1782 and died July 20th of 1869, making him fucking old for that time, I think. But he was a captain in the War of 1812. This guy, you know, saw some stuff in his lifetime. Sort of crazy. And the other ones are a little bit newer. This one is hard to make out, and the other two are a little bit easier to discern. And the story, apparently, because I was up here one day, just like on the High Line, and some guy walks up here with a huge walking stick, and he just like walks right over to this grave, and he's just like staring at it for a while. So I was like, I need to talk to him. But yeah, he apparently is one of the descendants of this guy and told me that this used to be an unmarked grave. He was buried here, and later someone came and put the headstone there, which is very interesting. I don't know, maybe people had a different way of looking at things at that time, or maybe he was just a different guy. But it is a little bit atypical for the region in that all of these tombstones are facing this direction, which is technically like a northwesterly. And I'm pretty sure that most Pennsylvania Dutch and a lot of the settlers around here chose to be buried facing east, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But I think it's pretty obvious why they chose to have the tombstones facing this direction. I mean, I could look at that for the rest of eternity, probably. I don't know. All right. We'll head out of here.